8 past 9 a.m. Much thanks for being with us on UBC TV, and welcome to the Extra, which is an extension of Good Morning Uganda. Robert Chirabonyonyitono. And this morning we are going to be looking at something very important. It's been around, some people have faced the impact of it. It's been a talk. At one time it was very hard even in Parliament, but we are going to be discussing rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure. Now, when you talk about rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure, we've seen a number of agencies that have been merged, and we've seen some people gain better jobs, maybe I would say, others the other side of the coin. However, government has given clear stand that this has reduced public expenditure and also removed duplication of work. But I'm not the expert to speak on this. I have the senior management analyst, Minister of Public Service, Matovu Kenneth. Sebo, you're most welcome.
Thank you, Robert, and good morning, fellow Ugandans.
Now, to start with, Kenneth, just give us a brief background to the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure.
Robert, allow me extend greetings from the Ministry of Public Service, a ministry from which I hail. Fellow Ugandans, rationalization did not start yesterday. It goes back, stretches back as far as 1986. Where we had the change of government, and when the new government came into power, it came with the reforms. At one time, we were operating regional tiers, and there were no 4 regional tiers. Fast forward, today we have over 137 districts. That is the reform, extending services nearer to the citizen. Now, on 22nd February 2021, government took a decision to merge, mainstream, and transfer functions. The objective was to rationalize government agencies and public expenditure. There were studies that were done. We established that there were functional duplications and overlap. Some of these functions were being performed by the agencies as implementing arms, and then we had the ministries that were now doing a supervisory role for these agencies, but they ended up performing the same functions. So on that fateful day, government took a decision. Now look here, we need to come up with a leaner government. We need to cut down on the costs of expenditure. And by costs, what are we talking about? Most of these agencies were renting. So if you mainstream into a ministry that is not renting, it has a home, a permanent home. So you're reducing on the costs of rent. Wherever they were renting, they had utility bills, electricity, water. All of these costs are now coming back to the consolidated envelope. And some of the things that these costs will cure, we shall have better pay as government. We shall generate more revenue as government in terms of tax collection. So at one time, the story was that government has taken a decision to mainstream, merge, and transfer. There were very many questions. Will this happen? Will this come to the day of light? Fellow Ugandans, as I speak, we've already come up with structures. We are now implementing the decision of government, meaning the structures are developed, We have the commissions, those are appointing authorities. They have validated staff, and staff are now being placed in their rightful positions. I can assure you that the Attorney General's office or the Ministry of Justice Constitutional Affairs, that is the responsible entity for the legal framework. We saw the heated debates in the Parliament about some of the bills that were being presented. Today, those bills have been assented to, and they are now law. Meaning, if the agency was asked or was merged, the former no longer exists. So it is null and void. Whoever deals with it, it is at their own cost. Where functions have been transferred, that has been done. And where functions have been mainstreamed, by mainstreaming, I mean, we had agencies like the Rural Electrification Agency. It has moved back to the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. We had an authority called Uganda Warehouse Receipt Systems. It has moved to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. That is the mainstreaming. By merger, at one time we had the Uganda Free Zones Authority. And then we had the Uganda Export Promotions Board. They have been merged into a new entity called the Uganda Free Zones and Export Promotions Authority. By transfer, colleagues, we all know that we have a national planning authority. But we've been having other planning entities. For example, the National Population Council. The people are supposed to take stock of the population of the country and plan for that population. They have been transferred to the National Planning Authority. We had a National Physical Planning Board. The people who now were looking at our different areas and guiding that when you come to Nakasero, you cannot construct residentials. Nakasero is highly commercial. When you say commercial, what are you looking at? Who should construct schools, businesses, offices, hotels? That was the work of the National Physical Planning Board.
Yes.
At the same time, the National Planning Authority had a department that was dealing with urban planning and housing, doing the same thing. So that is when now we took a decision that, okay, let us transfer the functions of the National Physical Planning Board to the National Planning Authority.
Now, Kenneth, I don't know. Of course, time may not be so much for us to see if the desired results we are getting them. But under this process, people have questioned, are we going to save the funds? Because statistics will show you that this is what we expect to save. By and large, so far, do we see the saving of what we started? Because along this process, we lost specialization. Because one would say a department in a ministry and an authority on its own may do different. These ones wake up every day, specialize in that area. And this may be a bit broad, so maybe we miss out on effectiveness, but also the saving bit of it. How are we doing in the monetary funds? Because we've already talked about high cost, administrative cost, high cost of government expenditure, which goes to recurrent expenditure. So are we really?
Thank you, Robert.
So far.
That was a very nice question, very pertinent. Are we realizing any savings? Yes, in the long run. In the short run, it may look like we are not realizing. Reason being, you've mentioned losing specialization. Although you've put it in the context that this has been a fully fledged authority handling a particular product. Let's say coffee.
You've taken me there. I never wanted to go there.
Now, we've moved the Coffee Development Authority to the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries.
Yes.
Now, it has not gone as a unit. It has gone as a department with its technical budget. Now, the specialty you're talking about, we have presented new terms and conditions of employment, presented them to the technical persons of the Coffee Development Authority. If they agree to those terms, we take them on. We do not want, we are trying as much as possible to avoid losing the special skills in terms of manpower. When we go back to the savings that you just asked, well, if we do not absorb as many as we want, the objective is to absorb as much as possible. We do not want to see any fatalities. So the savings may not be realized in the short term because we are compensating or paying severance packages.
Yes.
That is a one-off. So in the short term, we are paying those that have not been taken on by government, or those that cannot be completely absorbed in the service. You see, when a reform happens, there are quite a number of things that happen. If you do a massive restructuring, that like we've done now, one, jobs may grow. So meaning their qualifications and standards change from the usual ones, you know. Some jobs may be abolished. They have outlived their usefulness. So if the person that is affected was in a job that is abolished, there are two things that happen. We examine their qualifications. If they have qualifications that can better serve elsewhere, we recommend that they are absorbed in that position. Where we cannot, or where they don't have the qualifications, we retire them on abolition of office. So what is the takeaway here? If we absorb this person, we have now saved.
Because we're going to compensate.
We are not going to compensate that person because they are continuing to work. If we don't absorb that person, we compensate them, give them terminal benefits, give them a gratuity and a severance package. But in the long run, are we going to be spending the money? So it answers the question of, are we saving? Yes, we are.
Now, give us an update of how far the process has moved.
Fellow Ugandans, we started, the assignment was phased. Phase one was to develop structures and then describe the positions or the jobs on those structures. The structures were developed, presented to cabinet, they were approved. And the Ministry of Finance issued certificates of financial implications. The jobs were described. These job descriptions were also approved and handed over to the appointing authorities. And these are the service commissions, where we have entities that have been merged. One, the former boards were dissolved. So a new board is appointed. Where the new boards have been appointed, we had committees. One of them was the ministerial steering committees that had representation of the given ministry. Take, for instance, if it is Ministry of Energy, the permanent secretary of Ministry of Energy is the chair to that committee. So they have the human resource officers on that committee, and then the representation from the affected agencies. What is that committee supposed to do? That committee is supposed to facilitate the validation process and exercise of the affected staff. So after developing these structures, submitting job descriptions to the service commissions, where we have boards, the new boards, we submit those job descriptions, then that committee goes ahead and validates the affected persons of these agencies. As I speak now, most of these staff have been validated and the recruitment is ongoing.
Now, when we talk about the recruitment ongoing, how far have we gone as far as the compensation for those where the offices are abolished or those are not carried on? Because much as we are looking in this direction of duplication of functions, reducing expenditure in the long run, also we have a challenge of people who are employed, and more so looking at Uganda, we have high levels of dependency.
Yes.
That you find one person has a number of mouths to feed, educate, treat. Are we having timely compensation?
Thank you, Robert. Yes, we are. But now, compensation has, as earlier explained, that who are you compensating? Let me take an example of those that have completed the process. I'll take on National Planning Authority, which took on now the functions of National Population Council and the National Physical Planning Board. For those that were not absorbed, those were compensated. They were given their terminal benefits or severance packages. The very first entity that was fast-tracked was the Rural Electrification Agency that was now mainstreamed in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Those that were not taken on have already received their compensation. So it takes me back to the question, who gets compensated? As the recruitment process is still ongoing, we allow the commissions or the boards to complete the recruitment process. Then we'll look at who has not been taken on. When we identify these people, I can assure you the Ministry of Finance has already cleared these certificates. And these agencies have that money on their accounts. So as soon as the recruitment process is done, all the affected persons that have not been mainstreamed will be compensated. So we allow for the process to move. Let us first allow the recruitment process to get done, see who has been absorbed, and then we take care of those that we've not absorbed.
Now, when we do this merger, the rationalization, that means, for example, who are working in Uganda Coffee Development Authority, that ceases to be now.
Yes.
For now, they are not earning because it ceases to be, as they await the completion of the
recruitment process.
Process.
So yes. When, I mean, let's say some of these agencies were established by acts of parliament, some by laws.
Yes.
If now this statutory instrument has been nullified,
government if they cannot continue paying,
the institution
ceases
to exist. But we are saying no, do not abandon these people. Because it is the same government that has its own programs. It is the government that is looking to cure the unemployment. If we are seen now creating unemployment as government, it loses meaning. So we are saying, for the coffee, you've brought that example, that I can assure you that the Public Service Commission is already recruiting these people under the Ministry of Agriculture. So we wait. Patience is very hard. It is something that is very hard to get used to.
Approximately, or if you may be in the know, how long is this recruitment process likely to take? Is it per agency? Do we have a time frame? Because we talked about phases. Yes. That this must be done, and these people must have a better life in one or the other.
We are now under phase 2, where now the legal framework was supposed to be put in play. Now that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, has assented to most of these bills, turning to law, the moment that bill has been assented to, then we swing into action. So the time frame, I may not be able to give you the exact time frame, because the institutions are many, and you cannot handle all of them at once. So the appointing all the commissions, the service commissions, and these are health, education, public service, and then judicial service commissions. They have their plan. As I speak, they are handling Ministry of Agriculture. That is where you have the Dairy Development Authority, the Cotton Development Authority, and the Coffee. So when they are done, then they'll move to the next phase. There are those that have been handed in a piecemeal. For instance, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Some of the staff have been now assessed for suitability and placed into the ministry. So I can say in the next 2 months, we should be done with the recruitment process.
Next to month, well, in case you have just joined, we are looking at the rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure that kicked off, and of course you've seen a number of agencies that have been merged, and like my guest has explained here, some already even engulfed in other or their mother ministries to say, and the exercise is still continuing. We hope the recruitment will be done very fast, and of course we know that compensation is also another issue, but like the guest said, government is aiming at reducing expenditure and also fighting or ending duplication of functions. Because at the end of the day, why would you have the same people doing the same thing at the end of the day, all going home with government monies, but also all that come along as being employed by government? The gratuity, so much happens there. Now, allow me to go for a very short break. When I return, I'm still with Kenneth, who happens to be the Senior Management Analyst at the Ministry of Public Service. And we are discussing the topic, rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure. We return shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Looking for instant excitement? The Uganda National Lottery Spin for Cash game is now available online. Wherever you are, you can join the excitement for just 500, 1,000 and 2,000 Uganda shillings. Don't miss out. Register now on www.nationallottery.go.ug for a chance to win your share of 2 billion instantly. What are you waiting for? Play Spin for Cash now, anytime, anywhere. Ituba is the proud operator of the Uganda National Lottery.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Thank you for keeping it with us on UBC TV. It is still the Extra, and usually I have a guest or guests and we discuss issues of national concern. Now, in case you have just joined, this morning we are looking at rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure. And the guest in studios, I have the Senior Management Analyst, Ministry of Public Service, Kenneth Matovu, with me. Now, Kenneth, all seems rosy like you've spoken earlier on, but let's look at some of the outstanding challenges in this entire process so far.
The challenges are not many, but of course you cannot live in a society where you don't have challenges. We've had the biggest challenge has been resistance to change. You see, if you're degrading someone as what they are using, that is the connotation they are using. These ones are aiming at degrading us. So if we don't do enough change management,
Yes.
you automatically invite people who are going to resist to this change.
And automatically you believe that no one would love to lose a job.
But it is pertinent. It is pertinent. It is for the good of the country. We all hear these people lamenting about taxpayers' money. It is being wasted. So if we listen to such things, government cares. So the other challenge has been, of course, we all know, political interference. If you're now saying that you're likely showing that you're laying off people, these are voters. So their representatives at any fora will stand with them and say no. But since it is a government reform, we should just embrace it, welcome it, and then we find out, will it be of any good to the country? And which I assure you, yes, it will be. Reforms are always meant to create efficiency and effectiveness. So it is mostly resistance to change and then the political interference.
What about the compensation element?
The compensation, as earlier explained, that we foresaw this coming. So we tried, the first thing that was handled is to put aside the monies to get ready for whatever is coming. Now, when we came up with the implementation guidelines of the reform, I said, okay, let us try and absorb as many as we can. Where we fail to absorb, then we compensate. So this we were ready. The compensation we have, that should not be seen as a challenge.
Now, Kenneth, let's look at this element of absorb. Freely speaking, I look at an authority, that's why you talked about the population...
Population Council.
They have a spokesperson.
Yes.
You're going to National Planning Authority, they have a spokesperson.
Yes.
And we want to minimize jobs.
Yes.
Now, if it has been How then do we do this? Because a ministry may have a spokesperson already. You know, now you're getting one from Coffee Development Authority. There's also a spokesperson of that.
So what happens?
So what happens? They both qualify, and maybe this one coming from the agency qualifies better, has been more, you know. So how do you, because in these ministries, mother ministries, if I may use that word, you're not creating new positions in there, I want to believe. You're not creating new offices maybe in there. There are already people in these offices, and you want to absorb these that you're picking from this other side that where rationalization has taken place, or the merger.
Thank you, Robert. One, probably what the country needs to know, that we have what we call the technical officers, and then we have what we call the common cadre. Who are the common cadre? Accountants, procurement officers, human resource officers, records officers, internal audit, communications. Now, these are, in most of the entities, these are found under, in the agencies, private setting, you'll find them under the corporate department, corporate affairs. Elsewhere, you'll find them under finance and administration. These are now the support arm of the entity. Government is structured in a very beautiful way that all these cadres have parent ministries. So if National Population Council has been having a communications officer, that communications officer will be sent back to the Ministry of ICT. That is their home. If they've been having a human resource officer, that human resource officer will be sent back to the Ministry of Public Service. And so is the accountant, procurement, internal audit. We have the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development. So those support functions of any entity, those are already catered for. Take them back to the parent ministries and they will get redeployed where we don't have staff. Now, the technical officers. You've been having a population officer. Where do you find the population officers? You cannot find them in the Ministry of Gender.
Yes.
Are we together? So that technical officer is the one we are now moving to the National Planning Authority. But the driver, the secretary, the office assistants, human resource, the records, procurement, those have been moved back to their parent ministries for redeployment.
They seem to be many.
Government has the positions. It has. We have 21 ministries. Now, the workload determines the number of people you should have. If you have a ministry, like Ministry of Works, over 300 staff, it is now coming to 2,000 staff under the Ministry of Works. One human resource officer is not enough. We may end up saying, okay, they need a division. A division is headed by an assistant commissioner. Below the assistant commissioner, you have the principal officer. Then you have the senior officers. Then you have the officers. Are you still saying that they seem to be many? Government has positions where all these people will be placed. We have 137 approved districts, 33 municipalities. The number keeps going. All those entities need personnel. Are they still many?
Kind of not.
So it is the technical officers you should worry about. That are we taking on these technical officers? Now we have terms and conditions of service. Something we call the public service standing orders. They apply. So if you're interested, we issue you with these terms. If you say, okay, we take you on. If you say, no, I cannot work under these conditions, we compensate. And then advertise to the rest of the country. Those who are interested, take on the job.
I like the ease with which you speak.
Yes.
But time seems to be moving very fast. Now, let's look at the assets and liabilities of these various agencies that have gone through rationalization or that are going to go through, what happens to them?
Thank you. Now, if an entity like Uganda Warehouse Receipt Systems has been having assets and liabilities, and now it has been mainstreamed in the Ministry of Trade, Industry and the Cooperatives. So there has to be a committee that is supposed to do a survey of these assets wherever they were in the country, document them and hand over that list to the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives. So the ministry now takes charge of those assets. There are those assets that now are changing ownership. An example of motor vehicles. Previously, they were registered under Uganda Warehouse Receipts Systems. So a transfer is supposed to be done. Like, Robert, you would want to sell to me your car. Someone has to incur the cost of transferring. So the Ministry of Trade, they will now go into signing those transfer papers, and the vehicles will have to be transferred to the Ministry of Trade, Industries and Cooperatives. Where we have been having liabilities, these liabilities are like court cases. So whoever has taken on this entity, the liability becomes for that entity. If it is a court case, now it will have to change. We go back to court and they say Uganda versus Ministry of Trade, Industries and Cooperatives. Not Uganda Warehouse Receipt Systems, because it has ceased to exist. So then we shall have to engage the Attorney General's office, because we all know he's the attorney of government. So when we engage, they advise, and now he represents the Ministry of Trade, Industries and Cooperatives. Thank you.
This is aimed at reducing government expenditure. This is aimed at fighting duplication of functions. Now, I'll concentrate so much on reducing government expenditure. You talked about the compensation, let's okay, remove that.
Yes.
So with that, we know it's a long run. But when you look at day-to-day running, you've just talked about assets like fleets of vehicles.
Yes.
One of the areas where government is spending a lot, maintenance of some of these assets. The vehicles, you go to some ministries, you find vehicles parked there, bought very expensively, non-functional, some are even new, you know, but they are, it is that we see government now suffering with bills of like water, electricity, and these ministries are now receiving more stuff. Plus other things that may come up now, like the liability, if there are court cases, then compensation and all this. What assurance can you give Ugandans that despite this, we shall still achieve saving on expenditure?
Robert, earlier we said that there is what we are calling short-term and long-term. Now, when you look at the liabilities vis-a-vis compensating, whatever the court ruling may be, that is a short-term occurrence. So that cost government will have to face it. But now, for us, we are looking at it one-sided, that government is likely to lose. How sure are you that government is likely to win? So if we look at it as a one-sided liability, then it loses the stand of saving. It will be handled, and if government loses, it will compensate. That is a one-time. For fleet that is not busy, we have programs as government. There are some entities where you find they don't even have the tools of trade, what we call tools of trade. In our local governments, you find you have community development officers who need to face or need to go down to the villages, but they don't have the means of transport to get to those people. So if these assets, if some of them are outliving their willfulness, the usefulness, if their conditions are no longer good, we board them off. We sell them to the public. Now, when you sell, you're welcoming a revenue.
The auctioning.
The auctioning. If you auction these properties, some of them, if they had permanent homes, now we rent them out. We are still generating revenue. So when you're looking at expenditure, don't look at it as a one-sided challenge. It has a positive side of it. Where we've been saying we have limited fleet. If they are bringing more fleet, now we are saving on us buying a new fleet. So if they have vehicles that are in good condition, they are coming to the ministry, where a ministry has budgeted to buy 6 new fleet. That money has been budgeted for, and now it is saved. It will be rechanneled in other programs that will help the country.
Well, Kenneth, before I let you go, I'll just give you a minute or two to have your parting shot.
Fellow Ugandans, this should not come as a shock. It is only looking to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the taxpayers' money. What we are calling public expenditure. So those that think they are affected, I am here to comfort them. They will be validated, and we shall absorb them.
Okay.
Failure to do so, you will be compensated.
Well, thank you so much, Matovu Kenneth, who is the senior analyst at the Ministry of Public Service. We've been discussing rationalization of government agencies and public expenditure, a move that we believe, first of all, will promote effectiveness and efficiency, but also save government expenditure and avoid duplication of functions. We have short-term and long-term, but by and large, we hope that this will see the fruits of this, and it will be for the good of many Ugandans. Assurance has been given by my guest this morning that those affected will be compensated. Some will be absolved, others will get what they are supposed to get when terminated. Let's hope for the very best. Let's have a positive mindset, and we hope that the Ugandans who will be having the mantle to effectively implement but also justify this move carry out that function at the interest and the best of all Ugandans. Have the best of your day. God bless you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort, and pride with Royal Form Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality material